Hello, my name is Emily and I'm a student midwife. The following is a video of different stretches and strengthening exercises to do during pregnancy. These are just a few of my recommendations, and I understand that movement during pregnancy looks different for everybody. I do not intend for any of these to be painful at all, especially when it comes to stretching. A little bit of stretching is okay. It's important to breathe deeply into those stretches. However, any sensation that is sharp, pulling, or painful should not be felt. So I do not recommend doing any of these if you feel that. At the end of the video, I will include a 30-minute sequence of all the exercises in order. And I just want to start the video by opening up about how labor is not just about pushing and being strong and bearing down. It's also about relaxing the pelvic floor. An important part of labor is learning to deeply relax into your pelvis. For many of us, that is hard because we spend all day sitting and we carry a lot of our tension in our pelvis. So the beginning of the video includes a breathing exercise that I recommend doing throughout the entire pregnancy to help us build a mind-body connection with our pelvic floor. Preparing yourself by doing deep breathing exercises will help greatly during labor, as much of the process involves relaxing into the pelvic floor. I hope you enjoy my video. Placing my hand on my stomach helps me to breathe downward into my diaphragm. I place my hand under my pelvis and I feel my pelvic floor contracting upwards on the exhale. On the inhale, I feel my pelvic floor relaxing downward into my hand. I take deep breaths and try to focus on the feeling in my pelvis as it contracts and relaxes against my hand as I breathe. A great stretch for the lower body is breathing deeply in the yogi squat. For tight hips, you can place a pillow under your pelvis or elevate your heels. I'm using little wedges, but anything will work. It is important that your knees are in line with your toes and that they track over the middle toes. Next is the 90-90 split squat. My knees and feet are at 90-degree angles and I flex my feet slightly to protect my knees. I sit up tall and windshield wiper my legs back and forth, trying to keep my heels on the ground. This allows for the hip to rotate internally in the socket. As a modification, you can lean back as far as you need to take some pressure off of the hips or knees. This can be done by placing a pillow behind your back. In this posture, I try to keep my back against the wall while I split lunge with both legs at 90-degree angles. I put a pad under my knees here, but you can use a folded towel or anything soft. As you can see, I pull my arm back like pulling a bow and arrow. Without cranking my neck, I look over my back shoulder, giving my spine a gentle twist. You can add an up and over rotation to open the shoulders forward, remembering to switch legs after a few rotations. This is the Jefferson curl. With my feet together, I start from my neck, slowly folding forward one vertebrae at a time. My legs are straight, but you can add as much bend in the knees in order to fold forward. This is a great stretch for the hamstrings. I uncurl slowly, and when I get to the top, I open my chest, flexing my back. This can be modified for a growing belly also. By opening the stance wider, it allows for more room in between your leg on the fold. Again, you can see here, I'm folding forward, reaching down in front of me, trying to focus on releasing the tension from my hips. I stretch forward, and then I uncurl slowly, opening my chest up at the top again, getting a nice stretch in the upper shoulders. The following are exercises to strengthen, beginning with squatting. With my legs a hip width apart, I have a straight back and I keep my chest lifted to protect my lower back. It helps to look up slightly in front of you. This can be done with weight in between your legs or on either side. I'm using 2 little dumbbells, but any slightly heavy object could work. If you're doing this at home, 2 full water bottles could also work as dumbbells. As I go down, my knees are tracking over my middle toes, and as I stand up straight, I flex my glutes slightly, gently tucking my tailbone. This is important that when we do squats, we keep the pelvis level and we do not tilt side to side. I'm keeping my head and chest lifted and maintaining a straight back, hinging at my hips. Just like in the yogi squat, this can be done with heels elevated. If you have tight hips or tight ankles, elevating your heels can take some of the pressure off. Here I'm using a 1-pound kettlebell for my squat, and just like before, I'm maintaining my posture even though my heels are lifted. Squatting can also be challenging with a growing belly. If you feel your weight being shifted forward, using a yoga ball against your back on a wall can help you to lean backwards into the squat. This can be done with weight or without weight for a nice deep squat. In this position, my back is flat and my legs and knees are stacked directly above my shoulders and my hips. I'm rotating one knee out at a time, working my glutes and my hip flexors. This posture is great for stabilizing your core and pelvis. It can be done wearing a resistance band like this, or you can do it elevated in a bear crawl position. In this position, remember to keep your back flat and your butt down. This can also be done standing if being on hands and knees is too much. Remember to use something sturdy to stabilize yourself, like a wall. With the clamshell exercise, you want to keep your knees and heels stacked over one another at 90-degree angles. This can be done with or without a resistant band on. I'm just opening my hips and working in hip abduction. This posture can be done laying down. Finally, you see here the hip thrust. This exercise strengthens your core and stabilizes your hips. With my back against the bench, my knees are stacked over my ankles, and I'm flexing my glutes as I come up into a full extension. Thank you so much for watching. These are just a few exercises and stretches that support the hips and core during pregnancy. Here's my recommendation for a simple 30-minute workout from all of these exercises.